Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the participation meeting for the electronic identity and the trust infrastructure of the Swiss Confederation. My name is Rolf Rauschenbach. I'm the communications officer responsible for the electronic identity, and it is my pleasure to host you today and provide to you the executive summary of our participation meeting that just took place a few moments ago. As always, the slides are available also on GitHub in French and German if you prefer, but obviously we do that mainly for the English-speaking community now, so I guess you will most likely prefer to have the version as shown here, but also available on GitHub for your personal use. The agenda is as follows. I will give you a brief update on where we are in terms of EID and trust infrastructure here in Switzerland. Then I will just very briefly mention that we've had a presentation provided by the Federal Chancellery on the AGOV login and the interplay with the electronic identity. Then this also just very briefly, we've had also a presentation from Germany on their UDI ecosystem and sandbox. And finally, I will give you an update on where we are in terms of the global digital collaboration. As always, this session is recorded and will be published later on YouTube for those who are not able to join us now on real time, or all those who would like to rewatch this session once again. For questions, I would like to refer you mainly to all the resources that are available, our website, the YouTube channel, and also GitHub. If you have questions specific for the content of today, do not hesitate. My colleagues will answer the questions as they can, and if it is something particularly of relevancy, I will address it also here in the stream. You can ask questions via this QR code so that you don't have to type in the questions in YouTube, which is not really a good place to do so. If you would like to provide us with any feedback, in particular on our app, website and other, please do not hesitate. We do this for you, not for us, and we believe that we can improve, and we improve most adequately if we take into account your feedback. So please do not hesitate to provide us with such. Now, with regard to where we are in terms of the electronic identity and the trust infrastructure here within the Federal Administration of Switzerland, you may have seen that a media release was published just 2 days ago, where a new timeline for the introduction of the EID and the trust infrastructure was announced. Initially, there was no translation of this media release. By now, we have made an unofficial translation also on our blog. So if you would like to see the whole wording there, please do not hesitate. But I will provide you now with the main details and elements of this press release and the implications for the trust infrastructure and then also for the EID. So it is now the plan that we will implement the EID Act in the first half of 27, and that by that same moment we will also launch the trust infrastructure. With this, it will be possible to make entries in our base registry. These entries can be done by anybody. There is no restriction whatsoever. In addition, there will be the possibility also to do entries in the trust registry. There we have a restriction. Only Swiss authorities and also legal entities within Switzerland and with a so-called UID will actually be eligible for such entries in the trust registry. The swiyu wallet, which is already available now, obviously continues to be available, And it also will be possible to issue digital credentials on this trust infrastructure. They can be issued, they can be stored in the swiyu wallet, and they can be verified. One example for such a credential that will be available, if not at the same date early on, is the mobile driver's license. Here, again, a restriction. In the beginning, most probably only new drivers will be able to obtain their mobile driver's license simultaneously when they receive also their analogous driver's license. It is not yet exactly clear how and when we will issue also the mobile driver's license for all those people who have already a driver's license since a long time, or in any case do not receive a new one. The electronic learner driving license, which is already in production today, obviously will continue to function. These about 100,000 people who use this credential currently, they don't have to worry about anything. Things just continue as it is the case today. And I just hope that all these learners will soon pass their practical exam and get their full driving license also. With regard to test credentials which have been issued on public beta, for example the beta ID and also others, as announced already earlier, these credentials will not function anymore. There will be a new test environment called Sandbox. And on this test environment, it obviously will be possible to again issue test credentials. They will, however, as also announced in our last participation meeting, they will not be stored in the swiyu wallet, but in the Sandbox swiyu wallet. So we will have a productive wallet, the swiyu wallet, and we will have a test wallet called Sandbox swiyu wallet. This Sandbox swiyu wallet will not be directly available in the app stores, but whoever really needs one will receive the link so that they can download also this wallet and test it for their test cases. So these are the implications for the trust infrastructure. Now, what does that mean for the electronic identity, this new timeline? We have encountered, in particular in the context of artificial intelligence, a few additional challenges, and they have to be addressed. We have decided that further enhancements in terms of security are necessary, in particular in the context of the online issuance process. These solutions are currently further refined, and a working group is finding out how we best can address these challenges. It is currently not yet clear by when we will be ready to issue the electronic identity. We will inform you as soon as possible when we know more on that. And in that context, we have published today a memorandum with further background information on this topic. It is available on GitHub, unfortunately only in German so far, but I'm sure you know how to translate this also to English if you would like to get more background on that topic. Now, with regard to the AGOV login that has been launched already quite a while ago and by now is in use by almost 2 million people in Switzerland, further simplifications and more user-friendliness will be provided as soon as the electronic identity is available. Basically, the electronic identity and the login will be integrated. If you would like to get more information on that, please have a look at the presentation provided by Stefan Minder in German in the main participation meeting. As next topic, we've had a presentation by Lukas Marszalek from the German government. He is one of the persons who is developing the ecosystem of the UDI wallet in Germany, and he has been explaining where Germany is at the moment. They have already launched their sandbox, and quite a few interesting use cases are in use. And you, wherever you are from, are more than welcome to join also the German efforts, which we from Switzerland find very inspiring and encourage that we have here some cross-pollination across also the neighboring countries and beyond. So here again, also from my side, thank you to Lukas and our German colleagues for being part of our program today. And with this, I would like to talk about the global digital collaboration. As you know, the global digital collaboration is an effort by the Swiss government that is already taking place since quite a while, and I believe it is a good moment to provide you with an update. What is the global digital collaboration? The global digital collaboration is a neutral platform for public and private sector stakeholders who come together to work and solve issues, tackle issues which they alone are not able to solve. The topics that are addressed within the global digital collaboration currently are mainly wallets and credentials, and then related to these topics, as we have just seen, also cybersecurity topics and artificial intelligence topics. Why is Switzerland engaging in the global digital collaboration, and what is actually the role of Switzerland? So Switzerland is the host of the global digital collaboration. We do that in the sense of good services and also for the promotion of multilateralism. The immediate goal why we are engaging in this platform and hosting it is because within the EID and trust infrastructure, we obviously have a number of issues that go beyond the Swiss borders, and where we are highly interested in having good relationships with standardization bodies, with open source bodies and other players in that field in order to find solutions that we as Switzerland alone cannot tackle. I could mention just one example. There is the question of how a credential coming from a digital wallet is going to interact with different browsers. There is, for example, the possibility to take care of this topic by the DC API approach, but there is not yet everything solved, and Switzerland is highly interested in advancing this topic, and that is, for example, something that can be discussed also within the global digital collaboration. In the medium or long term, obviously Switzerland would like to be interoperable with its trust infrastructure, and for that we have to be in touch with all these different jurisdictions, standardization bodies and so on. And we believe that the global digital collaboration is a great place to interact with all these different players on a good footing. Overall, one can, however, also say that this global digital collaboration is a small contribution to the digital sovereignty that Switzerland is trying to achieve, and also is a contribution to the focus theme within the strategy of Digital Switzerland, or of Digital Switzerland, yes, which is that Switzerland would like to be also a good digital host state or host nation. Now, I've been talking a lot about Switzerland, but obviously these topics are not Swiss only. To the contrary, they're global issues, and that is why we have broadened the governance structure of this platform quite considerably. We have introduced a GDC Council, who is advising the federal government in particular on the strategy which should be pursued by this platform. The Council also advises Switzerland on who should be the co-organizers of the conference, what the agenda should be of the conference, also of the high-level meeting. It also provides advice on budget and fundraising, and on special projects. Now, who is this GDC Council? And here you will see again that the GDC Council reflects this idea of a private-public partnership. The GDC Council consists of up to 20 public actors and of up to 20 private actors. On the public side, we have a group of countries. Currently, there are 8 countries, and with 2 more we are in discussions, and they might join rather soon. The country group is chaired by Brazil. In addition to the countries, we have also the public group for intergovernmental organizations with the African Union, with the European Union, UNHCR, UNESCO, and the World Bank. The World Bank is here chairing this group. Then on the private side, we have 10 companies chaired by Google, and 10 NGOs chaired by IATA, the Trade Association for Airlines. In the NGO group, you will find a number of other trade associations, as well as important standardization organizations, and open source organizations, and civil society organizations. This council again is providing advice to the Swiss Confederation on how to further develop the GDC. Now, with regard to the activities of the GDC, first and foremost, obviously, there is the conference, and I will just talk a little bit more about that. But in addition to this conference, there have been launched by today 3 different task forces. These task forces work on specific topics, always with a deadline. These are not open-ended talk shops. And they are, again, always co-led by a public and a private sector organization to have, again, this balance between private and public efforts. These 3 task forces work on the following topics. We have the Age Assurance Task Force, co-led by Brazil and Google. Then we have the Trust Registry Task Force, co-led by France and Apple. And finally, the Device API for ID Solutions, or DAISY, task force co-led by Germany and Global Platform. Global Platform is an important standardization organization in the context of hardware. Then, as a second important activity, we have the GDC conference, which this year will take place on September 1 to 3 in Geneva at Palexpo, just next to the airport. The agenda for day 1 is already public, at least the preliminary version of it. Day 1 will provide a number of keynotes and panels. The GDC Council will be present. The GDC task forces will present the initial results of their work, and then a number of corridors will cover other topics. Day 2 and 3 will be packed with over 100 sessions. These sessions are all called a little bit in the spirit of an unconference by the co-organizers. The agenda is not yet out. It will be published in early August. And these sessions have as a goal to initiate collaboration. It is not that somebody is just showing off with a great solution, but the idea is to address topics that these co-organizers are working on and need help, need support, inspiration from others, and maybe also for you. Attendance to this conference is free of charge. However, it is only on invitation. You may register via the website with the co-organizer you deem most appropriate and you have an affiliation with, ideally. If you have troubles getting a ticket, you can also get in touch with me, and then I will see if I can help you. The idea really is that all the people who are relevant to these topics can come to Geneva and participate in these important conversations and engage in collaboration. Here, maybe in a little bit a small print, but nevertheless, all the co-organizers that have been approved by the Council this year. We have almost 40 different co-organizers. We are very happy and honored that so many important institutions have decided to come to Geneva with their communities and their topics to engage in the collaboration. And in that sense, I would like to close this section with à bientôt à Genève. See you very soon in Geneva. And we would now move on to potential questions from the audience. For that, I quickly need to log in into my computer again. Please bear with me just 1 second so that I can check if my colleagues who are taking care of the chat today have provided me with questions, but that does not seem to be the case. That makes me happy and gives me at least the feedback that what I have presented to you was clear enough. So I can just announce the next participation meeting and then also the executive summary. It will not take place on the normal date on the first Thursday of September, as it is also the GDC that will take place on the same day. So we have decided to postpone the next participation meeting and executive summary to Thursday, September 10th. And with this, I would like to thank you very much for your attention. Let's continue the discussion. And in the meantime, if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, I wish you nice summer holidays and look forward to seeing you again after the break. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, have a good time also. And thank you again for your attention.